Hello world of gamers, Yogi Gamer back behind the camera. This is part 2 of my video game collection. Today I'm going to go through the PSP games, the PlayStation Portable. This is next in line for the smaller collections that I currently own. Let's get straight to it. I'm going to start off with the big box games. I'm not going to open them up because it'll be too much fiddling on in front of the camera. The lens doesn't seem to like that. This is the Konami double pack, which has Metal Gear Solid, Portable Ops. I've played a little bit of it. To be honest, I don't like portable Metal Gear Solid. It just doesn't seem to work, and especially given the fact that there's only one analog stick on the PlayStation Portable, trying to control, your character with no camera control in this type of stealth game, it just doesn't work. The other game is Silent Hill Origins, which, to be honest, when I first played this on the PlayStation Portable, I wasn't a fan of it. I thought it was too dark, and then I realised that I could actually adjust the settings, and when I did that and started playing the game again, I've actually found it to be quite enjoyable. I would say if you have a PlayStation 2, grab the PlayStation 2 copy because it is a little bit better. But, for a handheld survival horror, this is a worthy entry in the Silent Hill franchise. Series of games. Let's bring on another Silent Hill. Hopefully one day we'll see another. Another long running series of games, massive franchise as well. This is Final Fantasy number 4, originally released a long time ago, and along with a few of the Final Fantasy games, also remastered, remade for the PlayStation Portable. I've only played a little bit of it. I do want to play more of it because I do like the setting for this one. It's kind of like a medieval setting in the Final Fantasy world. The only thing is that with these types of games, for me today, being 36-year-old, I have to be fully committed to playing the game. Otherwise, it just gets left on the shelf. I love games that get us involved in the gameplay and whatnot. But with JRPGs, there's just so much you've got to do to get to the end of the game. But one day soon. And we're going to see a familiar theme, two familiar themes, Square Enix and JRPGs, because Square Enix were the boss of the PlayStation Portable. They released so many amazing games for this system, for this handheld, and they also remastered and remade a lot of their older classic JRPGs, tactical RPGs and whatnot. So this is Tactics Org, Let Us Cling Together. This is a premium edition. In these boxes, in most of the big boxes that you'll see, there are extra content included, art books usually, mini soundtrack discs, and sometimes some art postcards and little posters and whatnot. I've only played a little bit of this one as well. It's a tactical RPG, as the title of the game suggests it is, and it's typical Square Enix or Square Soft, or just Square as they used to be known. The art style of these types of games is amazing. The gameplay is amazing, but you're going to have to sit and play for hours and hours and hours to get to the end. So, again, one day. I'll just quickly point out as well that when Square Enix were releasing these special editions, re-released games, they were also offering 50% off games that came out on the PlayStation. You tend to see these stickers on the front of most boxes. I don't know if the vouchers are still valid. You could always go online and test it out. And another, we have, if I can just get it to focus in there, I'm not sure if you're going to be able to see, but anyways, Lord of Arcana. This one is more of a dungeon crawler style RPG. I've played a little bit of it as well, and again, it's the same story as the other ones. I'm not going to bore you to death, but I keep saying it. I want to play it, I just haven't been able to commit to it just yet. And the final of the big boxes that I own switches the pace slightly, switches the theme slightly. This is the Third Birthday, which is the third game in the Parasite Eve series. This one, for me, I really want to play it, but it just isn't the same as the original Parasite Eve games. It is not massively different, but for a handheld, it is noticeably different. And, it has some mechanics and some, we'll say camera issues, as most of the PSP games tended to have when they were in this style, that I just can't get the hang of yet. But being a Parasite Eve fan, I will get around to playing this game fully at some point. This is the Twisted Edition, just some extra things in them. Maybe I'll pull these out in another video and show the type of content that you can get if you pick up these big boxes. They are collector's pieces right now. They're very difficult to find in the wild in good condition because of the boxes being made of cardboard, and they are becoming pricey. So if you want these, it's best to try and find them now. Moving on to the usual boxes that you see with the PSP. This is Tales of the World, Radiant Mythology. This is a game in the long running, another huge franchise, another massive series of games, the Tales games. And this one I haven't played any of yet. Tales, as I said, with the GameCube, this is just, it's a series that I want to play. I see everybody talk about it on social media, and I start playing, and I just think, one day I'll fully commit myself. I have so many games I want to play, and so many games I am playing. We'll get around to it. And still keeping up with the same sort of theme. This is Phantasy Star Portable. Again, long running series. Everybody knows Phantasy Star. This is one of Sega's most well-known game series. This is another JRPG set in the Phantasy Star universe. And I can't remember off the top of my head, but this is either the prequel or the sequel to the game that was released on the generation of Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. One that I have actually put a little bit of time into, a little bit of focusing problem on the whites. This is Astonisher Story. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly. Astonisher, maybe. Anyways, I think this is a Korean game, or was originally a Korean game, maybe South Korean. I don't remember exactly. The reason that I picked it up, to be honest, is because when I looked at the art on the cover, it reminded me of a game that was released on the Sega Saturn, and I can't remember the name of that game off the top of my head. It was Realms of Mysteria or something like that. I thought this was maybe a game related to that Sega Saturn game, and I started playing it and realized that it had nothing to do with that one. This is set in the style of the Super Nintendo JRPGs. It's the classic style of JRPG. It is a good game, but I got stuck quite early on in the game, and then I put it down and I just never got back to it, so it's on the list. One that I picked up because of the shiny cover, and also because I saw Nippon Ichi Software also on the cover. Nippon Ichi Software is now one of my favourite developers of games. They make some amazing games, the types of games that I like to play. I haven't actually played this one yet. It is The Lineage of Light. I've had a little look at the back, obviously, and it interests us. But, it's going to stay on the pile for a little while longer. The good thing about having the PlayStation Portable is that when you do get into a game, you can game pretty much anywhere you want to go. And the main reason that the lens flickers out, because it doesn't like white cases for some reason, the main reason that I haven't played many of the games that I have for the PlayStation Portable is Persona 3 Portable. This was the first game that I invested in heavily when I first got my PlayStation Portable, which wasn't that long ago. It was only a couple of years ago. I was late to the party. This is Shin Megami Tensei, one of Atlus's well-known series of games. Persona has actually become a lot more popular than Shin Megami Tensei, but they're in the same sort of universe. So I started playing this, and I've pumped in over a year's worth of time into this game. Not in hours. I didn't play it consistently enough to be able to sit down and get all the way to the end of the game, within a few days or within a few weeks. I played through the game very steadily, and I was still playing over a year later when I got to the end of the game, and then I got stuck. I got stuck on the last boss, and I'm still stuck on the last boss. This game is brutal at times. I leveled up so much. I did so much in the game. I thought, by the time I get to the end, I'm going to be so super strong that I'll be able to kill the final boss. It just seems like an endless battle, and I keep getting beat every time I attempt it. So I've stopped for now, but I will get back to it at some point and try and finish off the game. Brilliant game though. JRPG. I don't really need to say much about Persona. A lot of people are becoming aware of the Persona games now, and a lot of people are going back to try and find the original games, and they're pushing the prices up of the original games. Try and find Persona 1, 2 and 3 now on the PlayStation Portable for a low price. It's gotten crazy. After Persona 5 came out, the prices just rocketed. And for that reason, I don't actually own Persona 2. But in a moment, you'll see that I do own the original Persona. Originally released on the PlayStation. Don't think it ever made it to Europe. It was Japanese, and I think the USA got it as well. I did manage to pick this up for the PlayStation Portable before the prices went crazy, and I actually bought this brand new. It was still sealed, quite a low price. I played a little bit of it. It is very different to the later Persona games. I mean, obviously it's going to be because it was originally released on the PlayStation, but this is a remastered version, so it's been tweaked to look a lot better and play a lot better on the handheld. And back to Square Enix, back to series of games that have been around for a long time. This is Star Ocean First Departure, and I also have Star Ocean Second Evolution. I've tried to play these games, a few times now. Well, the first one at least, I've tried to play a few times. These were originally released on the PlayStation as well, and the Super Nintendo, I think, for this one. I'm not sure about this one. Maybe it's just the PlayStation. But they've been remastered. They've been remade, tweaked to be, better looking, better playing on the handheld. And I really want to play them. I love the art style. They're action JRPGs or action RPGs. I just can't commit. I just can't. I want to, but I can't. I will. That's all you're ever going to hear from me when I'm showing my games until we get to the PlayStation 4. Again, been around for a long time. This is Wild Arms XF, and this is a tactical RPG. Very, very similar to a lot of the games that you've already seen. This one, again, is quite pricey to find a UK copy at least. I picked this up off of eBay. It's an Italian version, plays in English though. I got it brand new sealed for a really good price. Sometimes that's what you've got to do. Sometimes you just have to not be so concerned about having English written covers. As long as the game plays in English, it's the cheaper option is often to look around Europe instead of trying to find the games at home. And back to Final Fantasy. So Final Fantasy Tactics, The War of the Lions. This is another game that was originally released on the PlayStation. Square Enix released or re-released a lot of PlayStation 1 games for the PlayStation Portable. And to be honest, most of them are suited to the PlayStation Portable. I haven't played this just yet. This is a game that is high up on my list of games to play. It will possibly be the next handheld adventure that I go on after I finish the game that I'm currently playing, which I'll show you in a moment. Before that though, we have another Final Fantasy. This one is Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core. This is the story before we get to the story of Final Fantasy, which was the first European Final Fantasy released ever on the PlayStation, and it is one that I played all the way to the end. It is the only Final Fantasy that I've currently gotten all the way to the end of. I am almost at the end of Final Fantasy X. I'm trying to play Final Fantasy 9. I want to play Final Fantasy 15, so this one, even though I've started it twice, it's just not high on the list just yet. So next up is the game that I'm currently playing. This is Luna Silver Star Harmony. Again, Luna's been around for a long time. Again, this is a remaster, a remake for the PlayStation Portable. Again, this game is very pricey now. I believe in America they got big box versions of these types of games. In Europe it was mainly Square Enix. In the USA, if I remember rightly, it was Xseed who made the big box version games, and it might have been one other company, I can't remember off the top of my head. Luna though, this is a really, really beautiful JRPG. I cannot recommend it enough. I'm currently playing it. I've put a lot of hours into it so far. I'm going to play it right to the end before I start any more PlayStation Portable games. What can I say about it? It's just your typical JRPG, but the art style is amazing, the story is captivating, and the fighting mechanics and the magic spells and stuff that you can pull off in the game are just amazing. They look really good, and it's really simplistic to play as well. It's not one of those finger-breaking, mind-straining types of JRPGs that you can sometimes get into. And then moving on to Capcom with Breath of Fire 3, another remaster re-release. I believe originally the Super Nintendo was the home of this game, and then it was brought to the PlayStation Portable. Breath of Fire, again, been around for a long time. There's not much I can say about this because I've only played a little bit of it so far. And a little bit of racing. Need for Speed Most Wanted 510. This is a watered down version of one of the most classic Need for Speed games ever released. Most Wanted, the original Most Wanted, which was released on the PlayStation 2 and the Xbox and then ported to the Xbox 360. This version on the handheld is, it's obviously not going to be the same as the original game because, they have to take certain things out and make it be able to play on a mini disc. But it is still a pretty decent attempt to have a racing game on a handheld and keep it looking fresh. And back to Square for the next two. We have Valkyrie Profile Leneth. Again, originally released on the PlayStation, ported to the PSP. This game confuses the hell out of me. I just don't know where I'm supposed to be going in the game. It's so confusing. It's a really good game though. Besides, the problem that I've had trying to find my way around the game, the game is a really good game to pick up and play. The confusing thing is just trying to work your way around the world map. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know, maybe I just need to pick up a gaming guide and have a little look at what I'm supposed to be actually doing in the game. But that's what put us off continuing with this when I played it a little time ago. I did get quite far through it and then I just thought, meh, another day. Rambling a little bit. Oh, another white case, thrown off. I need a new lens for the camera. So Square Enix still, this is Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep. I've tried to play this and this is another game that's quite confusing. This time it's with the battle mechanics. There's too much. There's just too much, too many instructions, too many things to remember. When you're on the go, do you know what I mean? You don't want to have to remember a million things to do before you even start the game. That was as far as I got. I'll come back to this series at some point. And then the final game for the PSP that I own at the moment is from Atlas. Atlas Best Collection. They re-released a few games from the generation of Sega Saturn and PlayStation 1 on the PlayStation Portable, but I think mainly these were Japanese games that were re-released. This is the only Japanese game that I have in my PlayStation Portable collection. It is Princess Crown. This is a pricey game now. I did have it for the Sega Saturn, but I sold all of my Sega Saturn games and my Sega Saturn a little while ago. The reason that I decided to pick this up for the PlayStation Portable is because, one, I think it's going to be highly collectible later on down the line, and two, I really want to play this game. This is the game that came before Odin's Spear. It's a very, very similar game. It's a brightly coloured action RPG. The dialogue's in Japanese, but to be honest, there isn't like massive amounts of dialogue in the game because it's an action-based game. So you can persevere. You know, you can try to do the game without knowing what the story's about, or you can get like Google Translate and, you know, or use a walkthrough or something like that. You know, that's my plan anyways, and I will play this game fully at some point because I love Odin's Spear and I want to see, you know, what came before that game. So that is it for today. Let me know your thoughts, whether or not you've played any of these games, whether or not you own a PlayStation Portable or have had a PlayStation Portable in the past. For me personally, it is one of the best handhelds that was ever made. I have another video talking about my experiences with the PSP, which I'll link down in the description somewhere down there. Like, share, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, help us out, and I'll keep putting videos out. Bye for now. Namaste. Keep gaming.